CBSE Class 10 Math video solution to the sample paper given by the board, CBSE board, for the board examination to be conducted in 2021. It's a standard version of the paper, question number 19, case study based question. Obviously, we'll have 5 parts to this and we'll have to answer any 4 out of these 5 parts. We'll get 1 mark for each part. So, total of 4 marks is available for this question. Start with the first information available in this case study. 1, we have a photo of a road overpass is what we have. Let's look at the second one. Second one says that this overpass is in the shape of a parabola. That's what is mentioned here. They given us some information about the parabola. A parabola is a graph that results from P of x equals ax square plus bx plus c. Ax square plus bx plus c is a quadratic equation, right? It's a quadratic polynomial, right? That's what we have. So, we know what that overpass shape is. It's a parabola. Parabola is represented by this equation P of x equals ax square plus bx plus c. There are a couple of more information given about the parabola. Parabolas are symmetric about a vertical line known as the axis of symmetry, right? Look at this parabola. This is the axis of symmetry, a vertical line. Look at this parabola also. This is the axis of symmetry. There are 2 more points, 1 point for each of these parabolas they have mentioned. The axis of symmetry runs through the maximum or minimum point. In this case, it's running through the minimum point. In this case, it's running through the maximum point. Here, it is the maximum point. In this case, it is the minimum point. And that point is called as the vertex, right? So, we know the overpass is in the shape of a parabola. Equation of a parabola is P of x equals ax square plus bx plus c. And then they talked about essentially 2 things. One, axis of symmetry, and second one, vertex, right? These are the information we have about the parabolas. Start with the first of the 5 questions. Rather easy questions. All of these 5 questions, all of these 5 parts are very, very easy ones. If the highway overpass is represented by this equation, x square minus 2x minus 8, right? X square minus 2x minus 8, then its zeros are is what we need to find out. It's a quadratic expression. Find the zeros by essentially factorizing this polynomial if it is factorizable. The sum is equal to minus 2 and the product of the zeros is equal to minus 8. So, we're going to break this minus 2 into 2 parts, p and q, such that p plus q will be equal to minus 2 and the product pq should be equal to a minus 8. So, that's how we factorize. So, how do we get that? We know the product is a minus 8, the sum is a minus 2, minus 4 and a 2 will make it happen, right? P is a minus 4, q is a plus 2, minus 4 plus 2 is a minus 2, minus 4 times 2 is a minus 8. So, minus 4 and 2 is how this polynomial basically factorizes us. Splitting the middle term, that's what we are doing. X square minus 4x plus 2x minus 8 is what we have. Take x as a term common from the first and second term. So, x times x minus 4. Take 2 as a term common from the third and the fourth term of this polynomial. So, that will leave us with again an x minus 4. X minus 4 is common to both these parts. Take that common. So, we will have x minus 4 times x plus 2 is what we have. So, how do we find out the zeros? Equate x minus 4. It's factorized this way. Equate x minus 4 to be a 0. So, one of the zeros becomes 4. Equate x plus 2 to be a 0. The other 0 is equal to a minus 2. So, zeros of this polynomial are 4 and minus 2. Answer option 2 is the correct answer to this question. A very straightforward way to get to the answer. Should take us about a minute to get to the answer. Let's move on to part 2. Zeros of a polynomial can be expressed graphically, okay. Number of zeros of the polynomial is equal to the number of points where the graph of the polynomial intersects the x-axis. That's the first thing, right. Just take a look at a parabola itself, right. Have a parabola. The parabola intersects the x-axis at 2 points. These would be the zeros of the parabola. So, zeros of a polynomial are the points where the graph intersects the x-axis. That's what we'll have to find. That's what the answer is. Choice 1 is the correct answer to this question, right. You would have probably known this from looking at the way the graphs are drawn. It should take us less than 10 seconds to find this answer. Move on to part 3. Graph of a quadratic polynomial. What shape do you get as a quadratic polynomial? That was given as part of the case study itself. What we are going to get is a parabola. Choice 3 is the correct answer to this question. Again, shouldn't have taken us anything more than 5 seconds to get to the answer. Let's move on to part 4. The representation of the highway underpass whose 1 0 is 6 and the sum of the zeros is 0 is what the question is, okay. Let's say one of the zeros alpha is equal to a 6. The sum of the zeros, let's say the other 0 is a beta. So, alpha plus beta is equal to a 0 is what it says. The representation of the highway underpass whose 1 0 is 6 and the sum of the zeros is 0 is what we need to find out the quadratic expression. Let's find out the other 0. So, 6 plus beta is equal to 0 or the other 0 beta is equal to minus 6. Beyond this point, you can find out the equation in 2 ways. I'm going to walk you through both. The first method, if the zeros are alpha and beta, the equation is x minus alpha times x minus beta. In our case, alpha is a 6, so x minus 6, and beta is a minus 6. X minus of minus 6 is what we have. So x minus 6 times x minus of minus will make it as x plus. So x minus 6 times x plus 6 is a minus b times a plus b, which is a square minus b square. So the equation is x square minus 36. So this is a quadratic polynomial which will basically represent the zeros 6 and minus 6, or 6 and the sum of the zeros being a 0. This is method 1. Second method, we know the sum of the zeros alpha plus beta is equal to a 0. We have found out the zeros as minus 6 and 6. 6 given to us, minus 6 we have computed. So product of the zeros is equal to 6 times minus 6, which is equal to a minus 36. Now the quadratic polynomial is going to be x square minus sum of the zeros times x plus product of the zeros, which is x square minus 0x plus of minus 36, because the product is a minus 36, translates to x square minus 36. You will get the same answer whichever method you go with. Which is the answer? The answer is choice 2 is the correct answer to it, right? So we know one of the zeros, we knew the sum of the zeros. So a couple of ways of approaching it. First step, whichever way you go about it, you need to find out the second zero. The second zero ended up being a minus 6. So if you know the zeros are alpha and beta, then the equation is x minus alpha times x minus beta. Conversely, you know the sum of the zeros, which is alpha plus beta is equal to 0, given in the question. You know alpha, we computed beta, so you can find out the product of the zeros, which is alpha beta. If you know the sum of the zeros and product of the zeros, then the quadratic polynomial is x square minus sum of zeros times x plus product of zeros. So the answer is x square minus 36. The last part, the number of zeros that the polynomial x minus 2 the whole square plus 4 will have, right? How do you find out the number of zeros? Equate this polynomial to a 0, solve for x, you will get the answer. The number of values that x provides you will be the number of zeros that it has got, right? So this will translate to x minus 2 the whole square is equal to a minus 4. A square of a real number can never be negative. It can be a 0 or it can be positive. Whereas in this case, we got it as a negative number, which means this quadratic polynomial has got 0 zeros. It does not have a real number at all as its 0. What is the answer? Choice 3 is the answer to this question, right? So all 5 parts in this case were easy. Probably this is the only one. The 5th part is probably what I would call as a little bit tricky one. In fact, the 2nd and 3rd parts were really easy, right? You just have to say the place where it intersects the x-axis, and you'll have to say that the shape of the curve is a parabola, right? Those 2 were like free questions given to us. First 4 were much easier than the last one. Last one is a little bit tricky. You need to figure out that it becomes negative and therefore it's got 0 zeros, right? All 5 are rather straightforward. We are in February. You have about 3.5 months before your board examination. If you invest an hour in math from today, that's 100 hours invested in math, and that's adequate time to get a centum in the CBSE class 10 math. Give your best shot, solve as many papers as you can, take as many revision exams as your schools offer, cluster examination, school examination, request your teachers to correct your previous year question papers that you write and show it to them, right? Get feedback from them as to how to correct your answers, how to make your answer watertight that you definitely get a centum. Scoring a centum in CBSE class 10 math boosts your morale, and it's also going to help you get a better group for the 11th and 12th. Best wishes. Before you leave, I want you to do 2 things. 1, sign up at online.maxtute.com to get started with CBSE Class 10 Math online tuitions. It takes all of 5 minutes and less than 3 steps to get started. And second thing, I want you to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so that you get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Spread the word about this channel to your friends and classmates.